Hello, everybody. Welcome to Screen Score and More with Julie and Zach. Hey, Zach, we're back.
Yeah, we made it back. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good as well. It's nice having you, and let's get started.
All right. So, what's up first? What do you want to chat about?
Well, first, I thought that we should talk about somebody who actually passed away, unfortunately, last year. But his birthday would have been today, and that is the legendary Cleveland Browns player, Jim Brown. Now, Big Jim Brown, he used to play all these years ago, and he was really known as this running back for the Browns that was just able to not just push through the opposing team, but he was able to dart in and out with quickness as well. So he had like both factors, which made him so successful all those years. And he had many thousand plus yard seasons and just overall a fantastic career. And he will be certainly, as he already is, missed.
Yeah, he was always at the games on the sidelines, giving, a lot of ideas. And, it is odd to have a game and, have him not be there.
Yeah, for sure. So in total, he had 12,312 rushing yards, 106 touchdowns, 2,499 receiving yards, and then 20 passing catches for touchdowns.
Yeah, they, oftentimes when they talk about his record and show some of his, gameplay in action, quite
Yeah,
the sight to see.
he's one of those players that just isn't forgotten no matter how many years go by, and that's really cool to see his legacy continue on like that.
So, how are the Browns looking this season? Well, the after season. I know there's been a lot of chatter about them and some of the players.
Yes, there has been, and there's a lot of clickbait that comes with off season and analysis and different publications trying to get their followings to click on their links and to view things. So one big clickbait rumor that has been spreading is that Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, the fact that the NFL may be taking some of his legal troubles, and there are still a few pending civil suits. So some of those legal troubles, if there are more cases that happen and occur, the fact that the NFL may actually not be finished completely with punishing Watson after all of this um, off-season moves and coaching changes and various things.
I find it very interesting because before they were willing to overlook some of the things he may or may not have done because they really wanted him. But now that, I don't really think they want him, now they're trying to like, oh, how can we get out of this, basically?
Well, I think that is definitely a true statement, and I think that he is a stain really on the NFL and on the Browns as a whole, just with his reputation and everything that um, he was accused of doing and all of the problems that he has had with all the various different women. So, yeah, it's definitely something that the NFL probably would prefer to not have to deal with, but it's yet again just another thing that is going on.
I saw another potential clickbait thing that said that that someone had proposed a trade with Deshaun and a player on the New York Giants. That they were like, New York Giants has a problem person and we have a problem person, so maybe they'll like trade them to each other. But that really seemed kind of far fetched. Did you see that one?
I did not see that one, but I think the idea of trading a problem for a problem is like a funny type of statement and move that could be potentially made. Like, in your personal life, would you want to trade a problem for a problem? I don't, it depends on what, the other problem is, right?
Yeah, like so you have a kid that's giving you problems. You swap them with the neighbor kid who has problems. It's like it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. So, we'll see if the Browns do anything else exciting, and hopefully they can build off of their progress from last year, even though it had a very disappointing ending, and kind of just move forward into this upcoming season. At least with these teams now, they're actually going to be watchable compared to like in years past when you knew the Browns were going to be absolutely terrible. No matter how much you love them, you still just knew that they had no chance. So uh, it will be exciting and entertaining to watch, and we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we always have a quarterback controversy, so you can bet on that. Speaking of football, which reminds me of the Super Bowl, um, I guess there was reports of a shooting at the parade after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, reports you can say that, but it definitely was a shooting, and so one person was unfortunately killed, and I believe up to like 23 or so people were injured. And so what I was thinking about that parade is that it's a good thing that it was only one person that was a fatality with that huge number that were wounded, but luckily more people weren't killed in this horrible tragedy.
Well, let's move on to TV shows or movies. One of the things that we want to talk about I say every week, but we'll see if we have it, if the show is weekly. Because this is only episode 2, so who knows what's going to happen. But I watch a lot of Real Housewives and series like that, but I'm kind of getting tired of those. People can post in the comments how they feel about the reality TV, because I kind of feel like it's it's at its peak and it's kind of going downhill, but that's my opinion. I would really love to hear other people's opinion. But then I find wonderful shows like there's a whole series, I believe it's on Amazon Prime. But sometimes these shows you can find on multiple platforms, so I'm not sure exactly all the places, but it's called True Detective. And for anybody familiar with Devo, the song Whip It, they mentioned True Detective in the lyrics. And that helps me remember the name of the show. Because if you've ever watched a show and you're like, what is the name of that show I'm watching? There's so many shows. That helps me remember. Anyway, I think there's 4 episodes now, but the first episode had Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, and they actually are executive producers of the series, but they were in the first episode, the first season, I should say. But I used to always get the two confused. If I saw somebody in the a TV show or a movie, it's like, oh, that's Woody Harrelson, and it was really Matthew McConaughey. I don't know why, but after seeing them both in the same show, I'm like, okay, I get this. I now I can tell the difference between the two. Have you ever noticed had problems with that with any actors or actresses?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I usually have just an issue with remembering which actor or actress was in which show, and like them obviously because these various performers, they end up playing in different roles. And so you see them and you're like, wait, I knew him from that show or this show or so on and so forth. And it's really funny, just interesting how our brain kind of like just accepts the fact that different people play in different roles, different movies, different TV shows, and yet we're like mentally okay with it, even if it's like I guess I say it's not real with like different. shows and movies anyway, but even so, I still find that interesting.
Yeah, so I was so confused the this first season I was watching. Um, I was confused about a lot of things, but anyway, the first season, Matthew McConaughey. This at the time the season came out, I don't remember which year. It was when he was doing those car commercials where he was being philosophical, and people are like, what is he doing with his fingers or whatever. That's when he was actually making this series, because I didn't realize that commercial was kind of like poking fun of the series that he was in. But of course, at the time, I wasn't watching the series, and I just thought, he's really philosophical while he's driving around the car. I thought the commercials were a little weird, but it's like because I was missing the secret ingredient, which was the show that he was watching. So I thought, like I said, I was just so confused. But the fourth season, which I'm watching now, I finally made it all the way through, has Jodie Foster, and it is. I liked all seasons, but this is my favorite because I haven't seen Jodie Foster in anything for years, and she actually plays a person that gets in trouble. So
So something that I've always wondered in regards to just like different actors or actresses is if they get just basically known by their character, and if that really actually bothers them because in reality they're a different person, even though they play a different role. And I just wonder if that is difficult for them, just as their career is different roles, but their
yeah,
person, it's the same. So
I
I've
think a
always
lot of
wondered
people
that.
on that are been long running series, like the cast of Friends, a lot of them had a hard time, like David Schwimmer, and had a hard time like just being a different character, because you still see him as Ross no matter what he plays. And some people have to go out of, like, either gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight or change their appearance, take a lot of time off. But for some actors and actresses, it is a big problem. And you know, if I'm in a long-standing series, I'm going to try to sock as much money as away as I can, because you never know. But unfortunately, I don't think they all do that.
Well, just for example, for me, like in various places, people will see me and they'll have to ask me about the Browns or the Cavs or Guardians, just because they know of what I do with Cleveland Sports Talk. And so I think that with people and their or actors, actresses with their roles, I think that's something that they feel like they get recognized by instead of themselves.
I think some of them get recognized by like Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. So people probably like say that to him, and he's probably heard it so many times. He's probably like, oh, yeah, no one's ever said that. That's funny. Because I mean, I'm sure people say it's like kind of like a broken record. They almost see someone coming up to them and they know what they're going to say.
Yeah, this girl I knew named Adrian told me that she would always, everybody would say, Yo, Adrian to her. Even obviously, that's not her. It's, you know what I mean, but it's just kind of funny how people associate you with a name or a phrase, and that's interesting.
As soon as you said her name, I immediately thought of Rocky, which I know is one of your favorite shows or favorite movies. But there's certain people that have, either their song is like a real popular name, Jenny, I got your number, and things like that. I'm sure my daughter is Maria, and people are always singing all the Maria songs to her. So yeah, I guess, a lot of people, their brain is like connects with certain things, and that's the
Right.
first thing that comes to their mind.
Yeah, one last thing about that. I knew someone when I was in like middle school with the name Stacy, and everybody would say Stacy's mom has got it
Right.
going on just because of the song. So yeah, just like we've been saying, it's just interesting how that association is.
Yeah, and when you have children and you're thinking of names, you try to think of names where they're not going to get picked on. But something could come up with that name after they're born, and you have no control over that.
Very true. Like it's a new song or a new album or a new movie, and you didn't know it before because it wasn't made until like, I don't know, 10 years after your child was born. So
Exactly. So I hear you've been trying to get NBA press passes.
trying to, yes. It has been quite a process. So basically what I did was I contacted a bunch of people, finally thought I found the right people and thought that I got approved to be in like the database for the NBA events. And so I was all excited. I thought, oh, I could be going to the All-Star game and to the Cavs games. And what ended up happening is I kind of got denied. And honestly, they sent me a nice email that basically said, look, bro, you have a nice little website here, but we got like thousands of publications, and so we just can't approve everybody. And so I was accepting. I mean, I was disappointed because obviously I wanted to go, but I just thought like at least I wasn't like the only publication and they just denied one. You know what I mean? It was like a plethora of submissions.
Yeah, I actually had a similar thing years ago. I have a good connection to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One of my friend Jim Davison actually is an engineer for them, and he introduced me to the right person to talk to about getting, a press pass for the ceremony because it was going to be there that year, and they only allow so many, and basically I'm not important enough for them. So I feel
Yep,
your
that's
pain.
that's like my storyline exactly. Just um yeah, you have a nice little thing here, but we have a million nice little things coming our way. So sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Right.
Maybe next year, buddy.
All right. So the next thing on the list, this is very interesting. On April 8th, there is a solar eclipse that is going to happen. Do you have your glasses?
I've heard about those and I've heard the various discussions about the glasses, and it's like a whole phenomena and just everybody's excited. And so basically the issue was with the Cleveland Guardians baseball game. They didn't want the game itself to overlap the eclipse, and so they actually changed the time of the April 8th game so that way you could come to the ballpark, hang out in the daylight with your family, and then subsequently at night actually enjoy this event itself.
I think oh, you mean the game?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think the eclipse is going to happen like 3 o'clock, maybe something like that. I think it's very interesting. And from what I hear, I mean, that no one really knows, but there's a lot of events up here, and the Cleveland area is going to be a great viewing area. I guess I keep thinking they're going to schedule all these events and then they're going to have like bad weather or something, but and we won't be able to even notice it that much. But um, there are supposedly thousands of people coming to this area for that day. So the hotels are going to be jammed, and some people say that there's going to be traffic, hiccups and gas shortages, and you won't be able to get around. A lot of schools have closed. This is going to be either a great event or a big flop. I'm not exactly sure which way it's going to go.
Not sure exactly what it is about this Cleveland area that makes it like such a great viewing event for the eclipse, but there's just something about this part of the country and of the world that people want to see it. And yes, the businesses are instructed to take advantage of the location and kind of go from there with the Eclipse.
Yeah, we'll see if it's much ado about nothing. But I remember them talking about it last year and it seemed so far away, but now August 8th is right around the corner.
Yeah,
So,
it's you said August, but it's April
did
8th.
I say August?
You
I,
messed up.
I don't know. My brain doesn't always work. You're lucky I didn't say November.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe I need more candy.
Well, yep, no one's forgiving you. Um Everybody's mad and pissed about the daylight that will remain because you put the wrong date.
Mean tweets will be coming.
Mean tweets.
But yeah, maybe it's because I'm not having enough candy.
That could be.
So what's your favorite candy?
Ooh, tough question. I mean, I used to just like the events of Halloween, like when I was a little boy, and the fact that Halloween meant, oh, it was about to get a bunch of candy in my basket. Obviously, now I'm a little older, not too much wiser, but that event in and of itself was my favorite, like candy based anything, just like it is for most kids, young people in general. But my actual favorite candy, I'd probably pick Mike and Ike's, and then chocolate based anything would just be Reese's also. Or Reese's. I don't know if it's Reese's or Reese's. It's
Reese's for sure.
Are you sure? Because I
Well, I think the
actually,
comments, people could tell us in the
yeah,
comments.
because I've like heard commercials where they say closer to like Reese's than Reese's, and I was like, wait a second, but I don't know.
You can learn a lot from commercials because I found out that I was pronouncing Jaguar wrong. The commercials are like Jaguar, and I used to say
There you go.
Jaguar. So yeah, so you can learn from commercials. But my favorite candy is the $1,000 bar. Has like
Mm,
crunchy, like I don't know, like Rice Krispie types crunchy things in with chocolate and caramel. But anything with chocolate and caramel, basically, if I don't have the specific candy bar, chocolate, caramel, nuts, those are my
so
jams.
what's your favorite like I don't know, Skittles, Starburst, Mike and Ike, more like sugary,
Okay.
fruity candy.
Well, like jelly beans, that's kind of like old school.
Very old school, yeah.
Um, and good and plenty, good and plenty, good and plenty. Used to shake the box. Um, I'm not really a big fan of Mike and Ike's. If those are in the room, you can have all mine.
Well, duly noted, and be sure to buy me some next time we
Make a
meet.
note. Get on that. We probably made a couple brain references during the show. Tell us about the your upcoming surgery
Oh boy, so I know
potential.
we referenced it, or I did in the of course the first episode. Obviously, I have epilepsy, and I'm having a pending brain surgery for my epilepsy. Um, the doctor did call last week and said that I will be needing an operation that essentially what it does is they kind of like dig very tiny holes in your skull and they put little wires in your brain. And so they're trying to track your seizures. And so basically they know where they're um, cutting into what is your brain. It's a big deal, and they don't just want to cut in your head for no reason. So the idea of this surgery is to just track and pinpoint the right locations before doing the actual surgery, or even saying we saw that there are just too many locations, so we can't do surgery at all, and we have to try different methods. So there are a lot of various factors, and it's really interesting. If you're interested in becoming a doctor or something, epilepsy is a really like fascinating type of thing. I mean, it's not the most pleasant to have, obviously, but it is really a interesting way the body kind of works, especially the brain.
Now, you've had some times where you've had to stay in the hospital and they monitor how many seizures you have and, when you have them. You have that before the surgery as well.
Well, this that I just described is kind of like that, except like more intense. With obviously there's still drilling into your head, but it's just very small holes to put in the wires. So it's gonna be, yeah, like a sleep monitoring test over the course of about a week's worth of time, but it'll just be with those wires in already.
Think of them as like little microphones, like listening.
I don't know if they would want to hear what I'm thinking.
um, I shouldn't make light of it, but you're like I said in the last episode, you're really brave to be going through this and to be able to talk about it. And, maybe other people that are going through the same thing could really identify with it and relate to what you're talking about.
Well, for sure, and yeah, there's a great empowering epilepsy group um, that's led by a woman named Lee Goldie, and she does a great job kind of doing what you described with helping people sort of relate to each other that have epilepsy. But really, my advice to everybody would be just to kind of realize that everybody has their fair share of problems. I mean, no matter who you are. And so you shouldn't feel too bad about yourself if um, or think that you're the only person that has problems when really it's everybody, and so that's what makes it um just that people just end up feeling better because they know they're not alone.
Yeah, and you're not alone. You have a lot of fans and family. Just think there might be some people going through this alone. So, maybe they can
That is true.
find, maybe they can reach out to you and, you know, um, and you guys can help each other. That's
For
what's
sure.
great about the internet. There's horrible things about the internet, but there's also great things, how you can connect from people with people all over the world.
True as well.
Well, any previews of what we're going to talk about in the next episode, or shall we keep it a secret?
Well, I just feel like over the course of the next week or so, well, first of all, we'll have a more of an update on my health, number one. And then we'll just have some more shows that people should watch and uh, kind of go from there.
Yeah, and people can comment on this show, what shows they're watching. Maybe we'll watch some shows they recommend or movies that they recommend. I know I'm always looking for something new to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's always great to find that new show and have something to watch, and you feel busy with all the episodes and everything, and so it's great.
There's so many options. It's like not like back in the day. It can be overwhelming at times.
Right, like even in just scrolling through your channels on the TV, it's like there's everything you can imagine. Whereas when you were, I don't know, long time ago, it was like what 3, 5, and 8, and then
That's right. And like some public, like PBS.
yeah, yeah, and then your AM, FM radio, and good times.
Yeah, bread was a quarter. I mean, we could go on and on. But you sound like, an older person, Zach.
Well, I still remember the days of like listening to the Cavs games on the radio with Joe Tate and laying in my bed, uh, trying to stay awake and cheer on the team. Those were the good old days back in my prime, so to speak.
I don't know. Your prime could be in your future.
Wow, look at you, optimistic.
Of course, I'm always optimistic. Well, anyways, next, I should say for the next episode, they'll just have to wait and see, and hope they come back for the next one.
Yeah, we would love to have you continuing to support us, of course, and yeah, we appreciate it.
And they can support by commenting, and sharing. That's all you have to do.
That's it.
All right. Thanks for popping in, Zach. Talk to you next time.
You as well. Have a good week.
You too. Bye bye.